Good morning. You may be seated. Members of the class of 2017, faculty and staff, distinguished guests and families, friends of the university, welcome to this, the 162nd commencement ceremony for Washington and Lee School of Law. We gather this morning to celebrate the achievements of our graduates and to share their excitement about the future that awaits them. This ceremony marks the beginning of a new chapter in the life of each graduate. Just as surely it marks the ending of another. You have spent 3 years together in this beautiful place. That was a joke. It is a beautiful place, but it's not the most beautiful day. It has shaped you as individuals and as a class. Together you have studied, argued, and developed the habits of mind that characterize good lawyers. You've made lasting friendships that will travel with you and give you pleasure and support wherever you may go. But before you go to travel your many different paths, it's important this morning to savor your final moments together here on this historic campus that has been your shared home. You're seated in front of Washington Hall, named for our most famous benefactor, whose gift to Liberty Academy enabled its transformation into the college that came to bear his name. George Washington saw that the future of America lay to the west, and he believed there needed to be quality education on the frontier. The frontier at the time was the Blue Ridge Mountains, and Washington College became the very first institution of higher learning on the western side of those ancient hills. Even George Washington was not so foresighted, however, to be able to imagine higher education on the other side of the ravine. It took another 180 years before Washington and Lee University, with the opening of Lewis Hall in 1977, dared to educate its students on the frontier of the frontier. But horizons shift over time, and just as Appalachia is no longer the edge of America, as our campus has grown, Lewis Hall no longer sits on its edge. The School of Law is now again, geographically central, as it should be, in keeping with the historical and contemporary importance to the university. For most of its long history, the law school was located on this side of the ravine. If you glance over your left shoulders, beyond the construction fence, you will see Tucker Hall, which was the home to our law students and faculty from 1936 to 1976. And a few months from now, the restoration of Tucker, which includes portions of the two-story law library in which several ABA presidents and one Supreme Court justice received their legal education, will be complete. In fact, today's commencement speaker, William Hill, received such a fine education at Washington and Lee School of Law that it could not be contained on a single side of the ravine. William Hill spent his first 2 years in Tucker Hall before becoming a member of the first 3L class in Lewis Hall, which 40 years later he still refers to as the new law school. I hope that during your time at Washington and Lee, each of you, on a day somewhat nicer than this one, has had the opportunity to take a leisurely stroll along the colonnade behind you. I make that walk every day on my way to work, and I'm reminded of the words of our late art history professor, Pamela Simpson, who wrote, "When we think of our most deeply held values, academic excellence, collegiality, civility, and most of all, honor, all of them are embodied here. White columns, worn steps, halls hallowed by time, and the strength embodied in them. Those values are eternal, common to all who pass through W&L. Yet each year also brings change. You may, or you may not, have noticed that a week before your final semester, a new president arrived at the university. I've been here too short of a time to make much of an impression on you, but you will always be important to me. You are the first law school class I've had the privilege to host at Lee House. You will be, in a few short minutes, the first W&L students to whom I have had the honor of presenting a diploma. You are the law school class that brought us Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and on the very night that her newest colleague, Neil Gorsuch, was announced as the nominee. So I will remember you, the class of 2017, and I know that you will remember Washington and Lee, the place, the people, and the lessons learned. Take Washington and Lee with you into the world, and you and the world will be better for it. You're well prepared to practice a noble profession successfully and with honor. We congratulate you. We know that you will make us proud, and we wish you the very best. I now call upon Dean Brant Helwig, who will lead us through the remainder of our ceremony today.
All right, thank you very much, President Dunley. What a fantastic day, even if the weather is not as pristine as it could be. But it's wonderful nonetheless to be in this majestic setting on the Colonnade lawn to celebrate this significant milestone in the lives of our students, our soon-to-be graduates. It is a joy and privilege to be a part of it. One of my favorite aspects of commencement is the palpable sense of pride that permeates the entire ceremony. Justifiable pride that you have in your own accomplishments, pride that you have in the accomplishments of your classmates, and pride that your friends and family, many of whom we are fortunate to have with us here today, have in you. The members of the law school faculty, administration, and staff, we all feel the same way. We are proud of you, and we are fortunate to share in this joyous occasion. To the class of 2017, I have just a couple words. The first, congratulations. Congratulations on making it through 3 grinding years of study. Through the first year of law school, when everything was exciting, new, nerve-wracking, at times terrifying, but also fun. Through that second year when you quickly assumed veteran status and could poke fun at the new crop of first-year students for being just a little bit too eager. That second year when you became so overloaded with journals, moot court competitions, student groups, and job search activities that you couldn't believe that you ever actually thought you were busy before then. And through the third year when you started transitioning to the practice of law through your participation in immersion, clinics, externships, and practicum courses, when you stepped out of the classroom setting and started to test out your role as an advocate and counselor. Throughout your time here, you've had opportunities to push your individual limits, to discover skills you may not have known you had, and to develop your identity as a legal professional. It is no small feat to navigate the demands and pressures of law school, but you have. Nice work, and congratulations on getting to this point. The second message I have for you is almost as straightforward. Thank you. Thank you for being a critical part of the Washington and Lee Law School community. At open house events for admitted students, I like to stress that one of the most distinctive and valuable hallmarks of our law school is the character of our student body. Well, your class, the class of 2017, was not short on character. For that matter, you were not short on individual characters, and I imagine all of you could name a few off the top of your heads. But when reflecting on your class as a group, I and my colleagues can step back at this point and frankly marvel at your diligence, your intellectual curiosity, your good humor, and perhaps most importantly, your common decency. Thank you for your probative questions in class, for your intriguing conversations in the halls and in our offices. Thank you for your dedicated work on student journals and for having the guts to push your limits in moot court competitions. Thank you for representing us to external audiences, whether in competitions or at conferences, in a manner that reflected well not only on you, but on our entire school. And on behalf of the faculty, thank you for letting us be a part of your development as a legal professional. You certainly pushed us at times, and we learned a great deal from you in the process. My last message to you is a short admonition. Hold your head high. You will know what I mean by this in just a few minutes when you hear from our alumnus, William Hill, but I will go ahead and elaborate now. Have high expectations of yourself and the level of expertise you bring to the table, in the manner in which you interact with your client with whom you will have the privilege to serve, in the manner in which you communicate with opposing counsel, who at times undoubtedly will test your limits. Endeavor to provide expert advocacy and counsel to your client, but don't stop there. Treat others with whom you encounter in the course of your work with decency and respect. Doing so will not only help you establish and burnish your reputation, it will dramatically increase your own level of satisfaction with your work. We have seen you do this over the past several years in Lewis Hall. Now take those habits into the profession as you join the proud ranks of the Washington and Lee Law School alumni. So congratulations on all that you've accomplished, and best wishes to you as you start the next exciting chapter in your life. We hope that your training and education here will serve you well, and we also hope that you will continue to be an integral part of the Washington and Lee Law School community down the road. Thank you very much. Now we'll get to the highlight of the ceremony, the conferring of degrees. I now ask the members of the law class of 2017 to rise. President Dudley, I have the honor to present 99 candidates for the Juris Doctor degree. They have been examined by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees. They are to be congratulated on their command of the ways by which justice is attained and commended for their exceptional learning to the advancement of a just social order. I ask you, by your official act, to confer upon them their degrees.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and approval by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer the degree of Juris Doctor of Washington and Lee University. Please come forward to receive the diploma as your names are called. I ask that the audience hold its applause until the last graduate has received the diploma.
Christian Birch Addison. Gabriela Elise Alonso. June Young An. Annie M. Anderson. Stephen J. Anderson. Rosanna Baeza. Tej Karan Cower Baines. Emily A. Bow. Lucas Michael Fleissner Barta. Trevor Anthony Beckton. Darren K. Binkowski. Sarah Ann Bidwell. Ross E. Blau. Jacob B. Bollinger.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Olivia Baldwin Broderick. April Nicole Brown. Brett Anthony Castellot. Mikkel Orestes Clark. Tyler Elliott Craig. John D. Cressman. Chelsea Alexandra Creta. Marissa Mamoye Cuenca. Elizabeth Kennan Dabney. Callie A. DeGroot. Kirsty M. DeGroot. Thomas Patrick DiMatteo. Mitchell Derek Dials. Taylor Michael Durrett. Maureen A. Edibor. Raymond Edward Escobar. Chi Harvey Iwusi. Holly Caitlin Ferris. Atanasio Fernandez Sanchez. Catherine Clayla Freeman. Ryan Strauss Freemuth. Valerie Elizabeth Fulton. John Gainey. Charlie J. Gibbs Tabler. Joseph Matthew Gonzalez. Solomon Joseph Gonzalez.
Thanks, Solomon. Very well. Thank you.
Max Carter Gottlieb.
Max, congratulations.
Kasia Harper Gopal.
Congratulations.
Tamara N. Harris.
Congratulations.
David E. Hatch.
Congratulations, David.
All right, congratulations.
Andrew M. Higgins. Ray Edwin Hingson II.
Congratulations.
Deborah F. Howe.
Congratulations.
Robert B. Humphreys.
Congratulations.
Zachary David Imboden.
All right, congratulations.
Hanyi Jiang.
Congratulations.
Joseph Eggleston Johnson V.
Congratulations.
Chad Anthony Joseph. Alexandra Leon Klein.
Alex, congratulations.
Charles William Knapp. Edward Carl Krausnick III.
Carl, congratulations. Thank you.
Stacy Jean LaRiviere.
Congratulations, Stacy.
Renee E. Laurier. Catherine Lee. Kerr Liu. Jenna Marie Lawrence.
Congratulations, Kim. Thank you.
Amanda Carey Lyons Archambault.
All right, congratulations, Kim.
Bruce C. Marr II.
Congratulations, Kim.
Ryan S. Marcus.
Congratulations.
Andrea Alana Marshall.
Congratulations, Andrea. Thank you.
Daniel Jacob Martin.
Thank you. Dan, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Jonathan Kersey Matthews.
All right, congratulations. Good work.
Margaret McGregor.
Congratulations. All right, congratulations.
Lauren Ashley Mishnick.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Leanna Catherine Minix.
Congratulations.
Darnell Jason Morrow.
Thank you very much. All right, Darnell, great work.
Abby Mulugeta.
Congratulations, Abby.
Kimberly Dawn Neal. Dean McNair Nichols Jr.
All right, Dean, great work.
Gretchen Nicole Panchik.
Congratulations.
Brent Michael Phipps.
Congratulations.
Maxwell Stephen Pillar.
All right, congratulations.
Kevin Philip Rickert.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Ellen Kathleen Sharp. Aaron Simmerock. William C. Simerson. James E. Simon.
Great work, James.
Ashley C. Sliz.
Congratulations.
Andrew Philip Larson Smeltzer.
Great work, Andrew. Congratulations.
Jared M. Smith. Sarah Bethany Stovall. Royce David Studeville.
Royce, congratulations.
Peter Martin Sharametta.
All right, good job. Congratulations.
Ann Cox Tripp.
All right, Andrew, congratulations.
Jeffrey M. Valentine.
Congratulations.
Rebecca Marie Varghese.
Congratulations.
Brittany Ann Vittner.
Brittany, congratulations.
Arthur Ross Vorbrock.
Arthur, nice work. Congratulations.
Norval Winston West IV.
All right, congratulations.
Adrian D. Williams.
Congratulations.
Clinton Todd Williams.
Congratulations.
Elizabeth Randall Williams.
Great work. Congratulations.
Mason D. Williams.
Mason, congratulations.
Jessica Ann Wynn.
Congratulations, Jess.
Justin C. Woodica.
Please join me in a round of congratulations for our class of 2017. All right, it is now my great honor to introduce you to our commencement speaker, William B. Hill, Jr. Everybody I know refers to Mr. Hill by his last name, and I certainly do not plan to upset that tradition. Hill received his undergraduate degree from Washington and Lee in 1974, and then Dean Roy Steinheimer successfully convinced Hill to stay in Lexington to pursue his law degree, which he received in 1977. Hill's connections to our school run deeper still, as both of his daughters are graduates of the undergraduate program at Washington and Lee as well. Hill has served Washington and Lee in a staggering array of capacities. He is an emeritus member of the University Board of Trustees, and he has also served on the Law Alumni Council. He has been the secretary, treasurer, vice president, and president of the Atlanta Washington and Lee Alumni Chapter. In addition, Hill has lectured in connection with the W&L Alumni College, and as part of the university's Summer Scholars Program. Beyond his service to his alma mater, Hill has enjoyed a remarkably distinguished career in the legal profession. Following law school, he went to work for the Georgia Attorney General's office. He spent 13 years there, including 6 years as director of the criminal division and 2 years as deputy attorney general. He was the youngest division director in the history of the Georgia Attorney General's office and the first African-American attorney to represent the state of Georgia in oral argument before the United States Supreme Court, where he successfully argued the case of Berger v. Kemp. In 1990, Hill was appointed as a judge to the State Court of Fulton County, and he later served on the Superior Court of Fulton County. Following his time on the bench, he entered private practice with the law firm of Paul Hastings, where he spent 9 years before joining the firm of Ash and Refuse in 2004. That firm merged with his current firm, Polsinelli, in 2013. Hill concentrates his practice on commercial and complex litigation with a particular emphasis on business torts, business divorces, internal investigations, and contract disputes. He also specializes in alternative dispute resolution and other forms of early case resolution. Hill is renowned for his accomplishments and legacy of service to the legal profession, to the state of Georgia, and to Washington and Lee. Hill, we are honored to have you with us today, and we hope all of our graduates pursue their professional and civic life with the same degree of vigor and uncompromising dedication as you have. Hill, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Dean.
Thanks for being here.
To President Dudley, to Dean Hellwig, members of law school faculty and administration, and all seated on the dais, to proud parents, siblings, spouses, significant others, children of graduates, my heartfelt good morning to you today. To the law class of 2017, I am honored and happy and proud to be with you on this lawn this day. I grew up in Atlanta with 6 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters, and I'll tell you, my 2 baby sisters kept up more complex drama than all 7 boys combined. My dad was a graduate of Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, where one of his professors was George Washington Carver. Now, my dad spent a lot of time trying to impart knowledge to his 7 sons and his 2 daughters, and he always started his conversations with me the same way, up until the day he passed. He'd always say, "Come here, boy, sit down, let me tell you something." And he would always tell me that I would make a lot of decisions in my life. But what I needed to understand was that I would only make 4 major decisions in my life. He told me that those 4 major decisions were these: the education I chose, the career I chose, the spouse I chose, and whether I chose to have children. And he was dogmatic in making us understand that the quality of those last 3 decisions is directly influenced by the quality of the first. Now, 40 years ago, I sat exactly where you're sitting right now. And with the benefit of those many lectures from my dad on many different topics, and with the benefit of my own perspective, 40 years in the practice, I'll tell you this: whether you appreciate it or not, today is a pivotal point in your lives. The trajectory of your lives changed about 20 minutes ago. You've been entrusted with the ability to accomplish feats that the average citizen cannot. You may one day use your legal skills to help estranged parents deconstruct their lives together and still build a life for their children. You may one day use your legal skills to build businesses or to end businesses. You may one day use your legal skills to be the shield and the sword for those too weak to protect themselves and too poor to fight back. Or you may find yourself using your legal skills to be both the legal and the moral compass for those possessed of power and intent on using it. You may one day be entrusted with the power to order the taking or even the life of a criminal defendant. When you step off this lawn, you will step off as W&L lawyers, well trained to intelligently and thoughtfully exercise power and, without flinching, shoulder the accompanying responsibility. Washington and Lee lawyers are different, and I know each one of you has worked hard to earn this Juris Doctor degree. And you've earned that degree from one of the finest law schools in the country. And quite frankly, I will tell you, it is the finest law school in the country. And I'll tell you something else you'll discover in the practice. You will discover that Washington and Lee is now a part of your DNA. And that will make you different from all other lawyers you will encounter during the practice. Academic excellence, the honor code, the belief in civility, and the speaking tradition, they are now a part of you. You will find yourself in the situation when people are engaged in these confrontational conversations that are absolutely lacking in substance, rather than a conversation through civil discourse that tests the substance of the various points. You'll find that you're different in that conversation. When those around you tailor their conduct to simply meet the minimum required of them, you will find that you will tolerate nothing less than the right thing. You will be different from those around you. When your peers and your partners and their clients begin to notice that everybody in the building, everybody in the courthouse, and even everybody in opposing counsel's office, they all seem to know your name, but they don't know theirs. It's the speaking tradition. It makes you different in a profession that is built on relationships. Others will also see this difference in you. Clients, I tell you from experience, clients will want you working on their matters. Judges will trust you. Opponents will respect you, and you will find that your opponents will refer business to you because you are different. And all you encounter, they will know that your word is your bond. Now, with most lawyers, I immediately confirm everything in a written correspondence. I confirm every aspect of our agreement and every aspect of our disagreement. Otherwise, memories rapidly fade and promises are forgotten. But I'll tell you, when there's a fellow W&L lawyer on the other side of the V, I am not rushed to write confirming correspondence because our word is our bond. The honor code is part of our shared DNA. It makes the practice so much more enjoyable. Also, you're going to find that too many lawyers think that gamesmanship and sharp practices are acceptable professional conduct. They are wrong. Washington and Lee lawyers, in every aspect of the practice, we display civility and professionalism. It is refreshing and it is welcomed. Washington and Lee lawyers, I tell you, are indeed different. And that difference is how we so easily recognize each other in the practice. That difference is why when I'm in a foreign jurisdiction, I always associate a fellow Washington and Lee law grad as my local counsel. Old trial lawyers told me early on in the practice when I was a young lawyer, they said, look, you need to understand this. The law demands a healthy respect for geography. You need to always know where you are and who you're talking to. And that's why I look for a fellow W&L grad, because when I'm the out-of-state lawyer, I benefit from that transferred credibility to my fellow W&L grad who is practicing in that venue. Now, I know that at this moment, some of you are thinking, I got student loans. I just need to make some money. My last year in law school here at W&L, my older daughter was born, Kara. She was born in February of that last year. Now, my wife, Melba, was still in undergrad at Hollins, and we had no money. Now, I'll tell you the truth, if my daughter, Kara, had been a car, Richmond Memorial Hospital would have repossessed her right here at graduation. I was literally sitting here with a pocket full of dunning notices from Richmond Memorial. My first paycheck from the AG's office, I paid my dad back $500 and sent a check to Richmond Memorial Hospital. And I tell you that because I want you to understand this. Just relax. You're going to make money. Many of you will make a substantial amount of money. But you're going to learn this too. At different points in your professional and your personal lives, you're going to discover that making money is just simply not enough. And you got to be careful not to ever allow making money to become a proxy for self-worth or happiness. Because if you do, you're going to be an unfulfilled soul. As my dad would say, come here, boy, sit down, let me tell you something. And when I hear my dad talk to me, I still see him through the eyes of an 18-year-old, and I hear him through the ears of an 18-year-old. After all these years, that's the way my dad presents himself in my mind's eye. My dad told me, he said, boy, you're going to make money, but you'll never make enough, and somebody else will always make more. He said, find something that makes you happy, and maybe your wife and your children will be happy to be close to you. And I can offer you 4 pieces of advice that have served me well in the practice, and I'm certain they'll increase the probability of a very happy personal and professional life for you. And the first one is this. Number 1, it is hard not to be good at something you like. So I tell you, find some aspect of the law that you like and do it. You will be absolutely amazed at how much money people will pay you for enjoying life. Number 2, every once in a while, you got to stop. You got to sit still. You got to sit quiet. Close your eyes. And I know this happened for every last one of us. You got to remember where you were and who you were when you first asked yourself, why am I here and what is my purpose? You got to visit with that younger you, and you got to ask yourself, am I doing okay? Because sometimes you have to look back in order to clearly see the present and to stay true to yourself in the future. Number 3, when I was young in the practice, I was trying cases down in South Georgia, and I had this old cantankerous South Georgia judge. And we got tied up at the third day of what was to be a one-day hearing, and we're all out at lunch. And I'm the only young lawyer sitting at the table. And so the judge asked me, he said, Hill, what is it you want to do with your practice? And I said, Your Honor, one day I'd like to be a trial judge. He says, no doubt in my mind you'll make it. He said, but let me give you some advice. You need to remember this. The practice is physically, mentally, and emotionally demanding. He said, take care of your mind and take care of your body, because these are the tools that for decades will drive the financial future for you and for your family. He said, I'll tell you this, and you need to remember it. He said, rest is a weapon. You need to learn how to use it. The 4th thing is this. My dad was always impatient, and he always insisted that whatever needed to be done, we needed to do it now, and we needed to do it right the first time. Now, years passed before I came to understand that my mom and my dad had 5 sons that were growing up during the Vietnam War and during the draft. And my mom and dad did not expect for all of their sons to live. Then I understood why my dad was always insisted that we get it done now. And my dad would say to me, "Boy, come here, sit down, let me tell you something." He said, "Time will present itself to you as your friend, oftentimes as your ally. But you need to remember, time is always your enemy." And I'll tell you now in the practice that procrastination is not your friend, and neither is its cousin, snap judgment. Time will take from you decades to build the professional reputation that as you sit here today, you envision for yourself in the future. But I'll ask you, how many heartbeats do you think it'll take for time to take that reputation from you? And I tell you that because you have to always remember that things are never as simple as they seem, and there are always moving parts that you cannot see. You've got to remember that the practice of law is chess on 3 boards at the same time. It is not checkers. Let the other guy play checkers. You need to always be playing chess. Now, you, ladies and gentlemen, are about to begin an amazing part of your life. Now, during your legal careers, you're going to be many different things to many different people. And I'll tell you this, because I don't want you to be frustrated in the practice. There is no straight line from where you sit now to where you will be 40 years from now. And there is no straight line from where you sit now to who you will be 40 years from now. I will tell you that I will do this again in a heartbeat. I have had a lot of amazing experiences in my life, but there have been no straight lines in my legal career, except for one. There is a straight line that always brings me back to W&L, and I hope that is true for you all. Now, in conclusion, I'll tell you that from this perspective, standing here at this podium, this is an absolutely amazing view. I look at this huge class because I remember my class from the first 2 years in Tucker and the first year out of Lewis Hall. We were a small number of students, and it does my heart good to see each and every last one of you. I see proud administrators, I see proud faculty, I see proud parents, siblings, and I see proud children, all of these law graduates. And I see a band of new W&L lawyers who are being released on the world. I see a band of lawyers entrusted with great power and possessed of great potential. And I see a band of lawyers not unmindful of the future. I say congratulations to the class of 2017. I say good luck to each one of you. And I'll tell you this, aggressively go do something good. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. Bill, thank you for that outstanding message. And at this time, I'd like to invite Carl Krausnick and Ray Escobar, President and Vice President of the third-year class, to the podium to present Hill with a walking stick. Thank you. Do we have that? Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
on behalf of the class of 2017.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Do we announce?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hill. So, all of you have your walking sticks now. Ray Escobar and I would like to present a walking stick to Mr. Hill on behalf of the class of 2017. I'll spare the history.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And before I yield the floor back to President Dudley, there's just one more announcement I'd like to make. Each year, the Student Body Association selects a Professor of the Year, and it's announced at our awards ceremony that we had yesterday afternoon. Well, the recipient of that award wasn't able to attend yesterday afternoon, so I thought I would just re-announce it. The third-year class selected Professor Al Carr as the Professor of the Year, and I'd like to all give him a round of applause. And with that, I will turn the program back over to President Dudley. Thank you very much.
I'd like to bring these exercises to their fitting conclusion by expressing our gratitude for all those who've made this day possible. We remember the faculty whose scholarship and commitment to teaching have prepared you intellectually to begin your careers. We remember your families and friends who've sacrificed on your behalf over these years with their time, labor, and substance. We remember alumni and friends of the university whose continuing generosity has supported you, often in ways you may not have realized. And we remember the university staff, administrators, custodians, dining service and facilities employees whose daily and faithful performance of their duties has made your lives more comfortable. On behalf of the graduates, I'd like to thank them for making this day possible. And for the graduates, I follow the tradition of my predecessors in taking these last few moments to remind you of what it means to enter a profession. Becoming a lawyer means becoming a member of a profession that is indispensable to our society. And as you embrace your profession, recall the examples of those who preceded you. People such as William Hill, people such as Justices Lewis Powell and John Minor Wisdom, American Bar Association presidents such as Robert Gray and Linda Klein, and jurists and public servants such as Pam White. Do not shy away from the personal sacrifice that your profession may sometimes require. Do not look the other way when a decision demands an act contrary to your own immediate self-interest. And never forget that the privilege and authority granted to you as an attorney means that failing to live up to the profession's highest ideals will directly disadvantage the individuals and the communities you serve. It's a very powerful life that you have chosen, and it offers you the opportunity to do so much good, but it also means there are real consequences if you do not. I wish you the very, very best. Godspeed and good wishes. This concludes the commencement ceremony. We are adjourned.